Welcome back. All right. So much for who the young Agigwagigi Angela Brown Burke is, but we want to find out now what sparked your interest in politics.
When I left Kingston back in third form, and the family went back to live in Yalos, my mother was got involved with the community, 4-H club and all of that. We used to have the adults coming over doing all kind of things. And then there was the beginning of the Yalas Community Council. And I became the first secretary when we started of the Yalas Community Council.
All right.
So it is the 4-H club doing that kind of work, working with
Service.
people, service, and then moving on to doing that. Again, giving back service to the community. A young high school person, they give it to take
Cut
the
it
notes.
early,
Yes,
man.
cut them to take the notes, to read the minutes, and to represent. And it is something that I love because it was about, one, giving back to the community, but just also being part of a group that was looking at how we lift up the community, about what the community needed, and how we could identify within the community the talents that could help improve the community, or where that didn't exist, where we could reach out to others. Some had been products of the community or had responsibility, in terms of government or so on. And I think that I just transitioned, having left Jamaica to go to Cuba to study, and now understanding the link between community life and the politics, how the policies determine what the development, and it determines the quality of your education, the quality of your roads, the service, and so on. It just seemed to me to be a kind of natural outgrowth.
Okay. Well, what you're trying to make sure didn't happen is that the detachment that is now a part of our problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Have you personally ever experienced injustice?
Injustice. I say to people that how I approach life is always to find a solution.
Okay.
Yeah. So whether it is because I was living downtown, and you're talking and them things, boy, downtown you come from, and no, nothing good can come from downtown. I don't look at it in those ways. Okay. I was brought up to be confident in who I am. Yes. I tell people that at Wolmer's, when we came in first form, they said to us that this is the brightest group they have ever met. And we believed it. And we acted as if we were yes, we did. We claimed it. And it wasn't until years after, that many of us, when sitting down and looking back, realized that they tell every group that. It is part of just...
There are certain lies that God will forgive you for.
I'm telling you, they're worthwhile. And so I left Wolmer's confident that I was amongst the best.
And that you have a contribution
and that I have a contribution to make. And that I am able to forge the way in which that contribution is made. And I've approached life like that. Some might see it and interpret it as being bossy, as being full of yourself, as being a whole lot of other things. But it is a confidence in self that I am eternally grateful to Wolmer's for instilling in me and for helping me to recognize that it is within each of us.
Okay. While you're one of the persons who, while in politics, went on and did further studies.
Yes.
So I must ask, because some of the times, people, I've been places where somebody would call on someone for help who has a doctorate in literature and not realize that that feature of studies where it doesn't mean a medical doctor.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Right?
That's
so
true.
That's why I'm asking. So your master's would have been in what studies?
I did a master's in business administration and policy.
Okay, so MBA.
An MBA, yes.
All right, and your doctorate?
And my doctorate is in adult education.
Okay.
Yes.
What was your dissertation, the final one on?
The dissertation was actually about what we learn working together.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was actually a phenomenological study of working together.
Okay.
Yes, and what we learned with that.
When you go that deep, everybody can appreciate that stratosphere.
No, but can I tell you,
Even though it can work, even though
no,
it's...
what I loved about it is that it gave me an opportunity to look at some of the groups that I knew,
Okay.
and go into talking with them and help to understand while you are working together, what do you learn? How do you learn to listen to one another? How do you learn to appreciate the different perspectives that are there? And even from the leadership that's there, what they bring to the table. And one of the things that I just found so fascinating is also understanding that many leaders, while they're leading, are not always confident in what they're doing. Yeah,
Okay.
because they question themselves too. Yeah, they question themselves too.
You know what I must say to you though, even though for this interview we're going to have 3 sessions, you will be invited to return because we are going to have a further discussion. But we'll move on to another one of our questions. While now in office we're not talking about the bigger office now, but the parliamentarian office. Right?
Oh, I never know which one is bigger or smaller.
No, perceptions, from these perceptions. Give an idea of some of the projects that you have done. First, when you were a councillor,
Okay.
I want to see the feathers that are in your cap, as a councillor and now as a member of parliament.
The first thing that I've always, I grew up knowing that education was really important.
Okay.
I grew up with my mother, who did not have a chance to finish high school because she started having kids early, just beating it into our heads that you have to finish your education, that kind of a thing. And so I've always found that to be important, and it has impacted my own life and whatever else I do. So as councillor, for example,
Councillor Mayor,
as councillor mayor, it was something that was really very important to me.
Okay.
And so when I got to the council, for example, I made sure that in as much as councillors had a little allocation for back to school, that the council also did.
Okay.
And so we also did a little bit more for through the poor relief department with students who were on path, families who really needed it. And we also did quite a bit in terms of helping a number of students at UA. It was at that time that there was this conversation about so many students being deregistered, because they weren't able, and we were able to do quite a bit of that. We also had, one of the years that we did was a discussion in the council about our children who were barren children. What was that phenomenon and what was happening? So I brought in the CD at the time to just talk to us about that. And we had this fascinating conversation about how some of our children, although they were still children, were taking on the roles of parents, They were the ones responsible
Children
in the
leading
home.
children.
Absolutely. And what that meant in school and in the community. And therefore how our counselors could actually help in that as well, and in understanding that. So those are the kinds of stuff. In the vision, it was the same thing in terms of programs. I did a program for young mothers and giving them a chance, a second chance.
So viewers, stay tuned. Do you need your wedding videotaped? Do you need a commercial or an interview done? Then call Sunshine Video Production. We videotape and edit functions, graduations, stage shows, music videos, and even funerals. We have a video studio and offer help with your marketing and promotional planning. So WhatsApp or call us at 883-0525